Hello, everybody. It's Katie here, and today I have a special episode for you, a special practice here as I guide you through this winter meditation, this experience to be followed along to as I guide you into an embodied experience of this winter season here. I'm releasing this one, as I really start to move deep into the winter season here. It's kind of funny. I look at the calendar and I realize that technically speaking, winter isn't even here yet, but the earth around me, is really telling me differently as I sit through the second big snowstorm of the year and quickly approach the shortest day of the year, the greatest amount of darkness of the whole year. And no matter when you listen to this, your winter may look a little different than mine, be experienced a little different than mine, but the themes today really get to the heart of winter as I know it. So with that, I invite you to enter into a practice space, putting away all distractions, making sure that you're not going to get disturbed. I do intend to bring us pretty deep today, so if there's a chance you're going to get interrupted, you might want to find a better time to follow along with this practice. Now, ideally today, you'll find yourself laying down so that you can enter into a full, deep state of rest. If that's not a possibility, seated in a way that you're fully supported. So again, you can, fully let go, relax, prepare to go deep. That's the sort of space we want to find ourselves in. So giving yourself a minute to get there, pressing pause if need be, and we'll get ready to get started here. So settling fully into your resting position, we're going to start to deepen in. Now, as you start to deepen in, you may want to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. If not, then a soft gaze can also work for this practice. So continuing to settle in here, to relax, and with that, starting to find your breath. And I invite you to find your breath down in your body. So beginning by feeling the expansion in your chest on your inhale, then letting go of that breath, letting your rib cage relax as you exhale. Inhaling again, feeling that expansion in your chest, and exhaling a little more deeply this time. Inhaling, feeling that expansion in your chest, and this time maybe you also start to feel into your belly as it rises, as it expands with your inhale. Continuing to breathe, following that inhale with your exhale, that nice relaxed exhale. So breathing, letting your chest expand, feeling that rise in your belly, and letting it all go on your exhale. One more time, deep breath. Now breathing all the way down into your belly, and that nice full exhale. That's it. And now keeping with this breath. So keeping with this breath, deep inhales all the way down into your belly, exhaling fully. Now, as you're breathing deeply, bringing your attention to the surface that's holding you here in this moment. So feeling into the support beneath you, where it is coming into contact with your legs, your back, your head, and any other places of contact where you feel that sensation with the surface below you. Continuing to breathe deeply as you feel into connection with the surface holding you here today. Continuing with those deep belly breaths, inhaling and exhaling nice and gently. So I'm going to start to guide us through a little journey here. And as I do that, I'll be telling you a short story about a recent experience of mine. And as we're starting out, just inviting you to continue to breathe deeply. That's it, just continuing to breathe. And now bringing to your mind's eye a forest. You are walking through a forest and just taking a moment to look around, noticing the trees around you and noticing the dirt and rock under your feet, taking a few steps down on that dirt, feeling into the sensations in your feet, hearing the sound as your feet step down on this earth. So you're walking along through this forest, and I'm going to start to share a story. And as I do, sticking with this vision of your forest, knowing that it might start to transform as it begins to weave with my own story. So staying with your breath, staying with your walk through your forest. So I'm out walking through the woods the other day, and I'm out walking through the oak and the aspen and the ponderosa. And it's the same trail I've been walking for the past many months. And as I've been walking this trail, I've been watching around me as the trees, those bursting with life, the trees shining so brightly, so beautifully. I watched as the weeks went by and the leaves started to change. Their greens turning into vibrant shades of yellows and orange and even some reds. And as I continue walking through the weeks, these leaves, one by one, they started to fall away, falling gently down onto the earth. So I'm walking this trail just a few weeks ago, and all these leaves now form a thick layer beneath my feet, covering the dirt and the rock, and with each step creating a crunch beneath my feet with each step. And the trees all around me, they lay bare, the branches having let go of all their leaves, now laying bare around me. So feeling into your body here as I continue to talk, feeling into your body, the images, the sensations that arise and maybe fall away, or maybe they stick around for a while. Just noticing what is going on in your own internal world as I continue on with this story. So, where were we? Yes, out in the forest. The forest just as winter is approaching. The forest with the trees laid bare, the floor beneath your feet, leaves crunching as you walking along this trail now. And as you're walking along this barren landscape, you notice from high up above that snow has started to fall. And the snow is now starting to fall as you walk along this land, and it's falling all around you, bringing with it a bit of a haze, a fog. The air is getting thick with white around you, so you start to focus on the ground just in front of you, focusing on the ground where you're placing your feet with each step, noticing once more this thick layer of leaves covering the dirt and the rock, continuing to take these careful steps as you notice this snow starting to land on this layer of leaves, as you really start to slow down, taking careful steps now as the ground continues to get covered. This layer of snow now starting to accumulate on top of this bed of leaves. And as you keep walking along, you lift up your head, you lift your gaze, and you start to notice the land around you. This barren land that has lost its color is now starting to transform. The brown and gray that once made up the landscape is now transforming, and in its place you are starting to notice this soft blanket of white. Yes, in this moment the world transforms as it is lit up with this soft blanket of white. And in this moment, you recognize that this land, the one that you had thought to be so dreary, so sleepy, is now transforming into something far brighter. So checking back in with yourself here, checking in once more with the feelings and sensations in your body, just noticing what may be alive for you and the felt sensations alive within your inner landscape. Continuing to rest, to breathe deeply, just giving you a few moments here to be with yourself in your body, breathing deeply. So we are in these winter months right now, and it's a time of year where the land has gone into a sort of slumber, a deep state of rest. And it's easy to fall into a place where we think that the land has died away, that it's dull, and that life isn't really present. And to a degree, this is true. The land has certainly gone into a sort of slumber. It's certainly a time of deep rest, of going underground. And also, when we look a little closer. There is much that is still very much so alive. Yes, life is still very much so here. It just so happens that this time of year it takes a different form. I paused to rest with a ponderosa the other day as I climbed up a snowy mountainside. The snow lay thick beneath my snowshoes, and all the surrounding aspens lay bare. And this ponderosa, this lone ponderosa, as I approached it, you could tell this ponderosa, although it was the only part of this world that still stood standing with a bright display of color, as I approached it, I could tell that this tree had also turned inward, perhaps living more deeply down in its roots this time of year, inward down in its own roots, but beneath it all, still existing this pulse, this slow, deep pulse, a rhythmic pulse. Can you feel it? Can you feel that pulse? Can you feel that pulse as you breathe deeply, as you feel down into the earth, holding you here in this moment, in this space? Can you feel the pulse of life that is very much so alive these days where the land has gone into a slumber? Feeling into that pulse. Feeling into that pulse deep, deep in the soil, deep in the roots. Feeling into that pulse. Where in your body do you feel that pulse of life that is ever present, always existing, even as we enter into these states of deeper rest? Now, maybe you want to spend a little bit more time here. Maybe you want to bring back into your mind's eye the snowfall in the forest as you continue to walk through a snowy landscape. So you might want to press pause, but when you're ready, taking your time to come back into your body, starting to wiggle your fingers, your toes, continuing to take your time as you start to bring in some larger ranges of motion. Taking your time to come back into the world. You might wrap yourself in an embrace, rub your hands across your arms, your legs, listening to some of the sounds in your immediate environment. And when you're ready, slowly fluttering your eyes and coming back into the day. So I do have a few more words to share today, and you might find that you want to press pause and take some time for yourself. Maybe you want to journal or go for a little walk or simply sit in quiet. Or maybe you're wanting to listen along as I speak a little bit more to this time of year, winter. It's truly an interesting season that I find a lot of aversion to. And I get that. I get it. It's cold, it's dark, and much of this time of year is spent inside in a way that can often lead to a depression. And I've found that if we can take some time and some of our attention and bring it to the nature of this time of year being a time of darkening, being a time of looking inward, and being in this space that is a potent time for being with all that is alive in our own internal landscapes, all the way down through to our very own roots. And with that, it does often ask that we spend some time with the darker aspects of ourselves. And while that isn't always pleasant and yes, can honestly sometimes be painful, it's a natural part of the human experience. We can't be in a season of summer all the time with the sun shining brightly in these long, bright, beautiful days. As lovely as that would be, it's just not the nature of things. So, a question, an invitation for you this winter season to lean into the nature, the reality of this time of year, being in those depths, those darker aspects of our reality. And also, when the time is right, dancing in the beautiful, luminous lightness and brightness of a snowy landscape, lit up, reflecting in all directions the light of the sun, illuminating the world. It's all still here. The full range of it all, the whole human experience as is lived on this planet Earth, the full range is still here for us to step into and receive as each moment, each experience presents itself. Whew. Alrighty, guys. With that, I'm going to leave us off, but before I do, just a couple announcements, not much here as I don't want to disturb this nice space we've created. But just a little notice here that I am here working to bring you a way to deepen into these sorts of spaces with these sort of practices. It's really my intention to bring you the energetics of the state that each season brings. And I truly love bringing you these spaces. And also, I want to do more to help really bring forth these spaces to a greater degree in your life to really help you step into deep states of transformation. So look for announcements on how you can do that. The best way to do that is really to be signed up for the newsletter. If you're not over there, the link will be available for you in the show notes. That's all I'm going to say on that. I look forward to seeing you over there as we deepen into this space. Thank you so much for listening along today. and I will catch you next time.